You are listening to an MLGA Network podcast.
All right, buddy, you ready to do this?
Absolutely, baby Smurf. Let's get this thing going.
All right. Just thanks for meeting with me. I wanted to be the one to tell you this face to face.
Oh, shut up. We actually have a show to record.
Shh. Just listen, my little sweetness. I'm going to be gone for the last part of this month. I'm going to be attending a work conference, and I just wanted you to know.
That's cool.
Just a heads up.
That's cool. I'll just have Ryan fill in for you.
Are you out of your GD mind? You think I can just be replaced by some nerd?
Well, I mean, it's just one episode. I mean, the show has to go on. I mean, if it'd make you feel better, we can record 2 of the episodes back to back next week or something.
I'll tell you what will make me feel better, Cameron.
Oh.
Is if you tell me I'm essential. You tell me right now that I'm the gasoline that keeps your vehicle running.
Weird analogy, but yeah, okay. You give me gas.
Do you really mean it?
Of course I do.
Thank you.
But you know, if we don't record in advance, I'm having Ryan on.
Ah!
Welcome to Make Liberty Great Again, the best damn Liberty podcast that you've never heard of. Phil and I will be your guides as we peer into the ridiculous reality of our society and our government. Let's get to it.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Make Liberty Great Again, Phil and Cam's Excellent Adventure. I'm your host, Cam Harless, and joining me today is my co-host, as always, Philip Padilla.
The only co-host.
Just let it go, dude.
You know what? No. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'll let it go as soon as we can get Joe Biden to let go of women's shoulders.
Yeah, well, you know, that was a great segue into our first topic, creepy Uncle Joe.
Whose hair is he smelling now?
Oh, gross. We're really anyone who can't run away. But really, that is normal. But someone finally called him out for it this time. I mean, they called him out on his creepiness directly. You know what this means, right?
That I'm going to say that the left's going to flock to him and absolutely nothing's going to happen.
You bet. I always thought that would be the case, but I haven't seen one lefty go against that yet. I mean, it's like Me Too never happened.
Well, they're not going to use their own weapon on themselves. I mean, right?
Right. I mean, if they do, that's just more red seats in Congress and a big red White House.
And they can't have that at this point.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
No, I know. And the worst thing that Biden could do is apologize. I mean, of course, Trump capitalized on this like the troll-in-chief that he is.
Which is absolutely his best quality, no doubt.
Right. And Trump retweeted a video of Biden explaining his hands-on approach to women and little girls. I mean, except this version of the video that Trump shared actually had a second Joe Biden coming in behind him, putting his hands on his shoulders and sniffing his hair.
Yeah, I saw that. And, man, are we living in the best timeline or what?
You bet your sweet bippy.
What did you say? What does that mean?
It means butt. I called your butt sweet. Moving on.
Okay, well.
You know, tell me that this isn't the best tweet that you've ever heard. The New York Magazine tweeted an article out about this situation, and the caption said, "The leader of the free world tweeted a doctored video of Joe Biden fondling himself." It's amazing.
You know what's amazing? This tent over here that I'm pitching.
I mean, of course, how I would have responded to Trump tweeting that video if I was Creepy Joe would have been very different. I mean, I would have just thrown 3 of those laugh-crying emojis up and retweeted the thing. What says, "This is stupid, you can't affect me more than that." But no. This dork thought that the proper response to this tweet was, quote, "I see that you were on the job in presidential, as always."
Ooh, that's a sick burn. You know what he should have done is he should have, made his own tweet where he was sneaking up behind Trump and smelling his hair and putting his hands on his shoulders.
Right.
That's what he should have
done. Right.
Back.
Just anything other than, "Well, I guess you're not presidential." I mean, and I've seen leftists out there like celebrating this response. It's like Trump has legitimately sucked all of the humor out of the left. How do you think that that's a good response? At this point, it's just sad.
No, you know what's really sad is that this weirdo just came out with this anti-sexual assault public service announcement. I mean, define irony.
Right, define lack of self-awareness. And you know what? I'm sure he did that. I don't know. I don't think I saw it, but I mean, if there's a virtue to signal, Dirty Joe's body is ready, or at least his nose.
Well, yeah, he teamed up with that drag queen Lady Gaga, so I'm sure the video's stellar.
I'm sure it is.
But moving on, our buddy Donnie T recently, threatened to completely shut down the U.S.-Mexico border. But, however, on the other hand, it looks like he's walking back that threat. He's graciously, giving Mexico a year to stop trafficking drugs into our country.
Using magic?
Using magic. Yes. Yes. But he piggybacked on that by saying that they're also going to start off with tariffs on cars.
Two things. One, don't make stupid threats that have huge economic implications. And two,
Sure.
I mean, at least it seems like he might have listened to the backlash and advice he received from, anyone with 2 spare brain cells to rub together to tell him about what the possible economic consequences would be.
And bigly consequences, they are indeed. I was perusing this article that Politico put out, and they were citing some information from the Commerce Department that, so check this out, fun fact for you and the audience if you didn't know, that there's approximately $502 billion in goods that crossed the border via trucks and trains last year. And they also go on to say that they estimate that around 5 million American jobs depend on us trading with each other. So, shutting down the border, getting rid of all that money that comes in from trade, getting rid of those jobs, I don't know how that makes America great again exactly.
That's a lot of cash out of the hands of American workers. But, starting a trade war is definitely a better move. I mean, I'm sure if he imposes tariffs on Mexican imports, that they turn around and do the same. There's nothing like incentivizing international trade and cooperation like threats.
Right, and it's insane to me that options like this are even on the table rather than just, like we've spoken about previously, hey, end the war on drugs, cut welfare programs to immigrants. It seems like a no-brainer, and just no one's talking about it.
Or welfare programs to anyone.
Yeah, well, yeah, you make a good point there. You trumped me.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer to anyone who isn't looking to make fat stacks on it.
Yeah, and that's why the government will never do it. They'd lose too much control. I understand people get their jimmies rustled about immigration, because they think jobs will be taken, that every person crossing is some sort of dangerous, degenerate criminal. But let's get real. Riggedy real here for a second. Not every person coming here is a dangerous convict. Sure, we can't deny it. There are some that find their way through. They make their way through. They find, their way to get across here. But it's not like crimes in the U.S. are disproportionately committed by illegals. I could understand people's fear if 9 out of 10 crimes committed were carried out by illegal immigrants. That'd be one thing. But that's just not the case. I
mean, you live in a border state, so you probably have lots of opinions on the matter. And, for me, I don't know why, but that's one of the things that I don't think about, immigration.
Yeah, I mean, living in a border state, you have strong opinions. Most people that I know, speaking anecdotally, friends and family have strong opinions. But I'm just gonna be honest.
Oh, don't you ever lie to me.
I wouldn't ever lie to you, sweetness. But I honestly don't care if someone comes to the U.S. looking for opportunity, a better life, and that the American dream, white picket fence, all that good stuff. I do not care.
Right, and I mean, for the most part, I'd actually recommend people do that.
So I feel more often than not, anytime that immigration is brought up, it's, they're taking our jobs, they're committing crimes, Democrats are using them to change voting demographics. And, I get people's concerns, but I feel that they're inflated for the most part.
Right, I mean, everything today is inflated to a fever pitch. I mean, if people aren't pissed off or scared to death, they're not going to vote for you.
Right. And, I already touched, a little bit on my opinions about crime. So, I'll just ask this question. Why aren't people more concerned with this liberal exodus from California and other states? I feel like that, just personally, in my opinion, that poses much more of a risk than illegal immigrants. I mean, you have liberals moving into states like mine, Arizona, Texas, etc., and they're changing red areas blue or purple. I mean, they should be a lot more afraid of that.
Right? I mean, they're getting away from their terrible areas where taxes are too high and they can't afford to live and this, that, and the other. But, I mean, and these people they're going to places that are better, but just to make them worse, because these are people that are very easy to direct to do what
they're just
the
vote
left
the same
wants
way.
them to do. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, I feel like people should be more worried than they are about white liberal migration patterns rather than just
For show.
brown Mexican immigration patterns. But I mean, actually, I heard that Kristen Tate, that libertarian chick, I think that's her website. I'm not just being sexist for sexism's sake. Is going to have a book about that coming out either this year or next.
Yeah, I think you're right, buddy. When she was on Malice, I think she mentioned that it's going to be coming out pretty soon. So that'll be an interesting read, because that's what it's all about, is these migration patterns and how they're drastically changing, these red areas. But, there's just one last point that I wanted to make, and it's just, what I hate more than anything, the argument that I always hear is, they're stealing our jobs. Even South Park made fun of it. They took our jobs. But okay, so let's just take, your average illegal immigrant. They probably don't speak English. The education that they may or may not have probably isn't anywhere near equal to what we get here. They may or may not have marketable job skills. So what exactly is out there for them? So you mean to tell me that I need to be so afraid of some person, working, some crappy landscaping or other manual labor job, or, working at some farm picking lettuce or fruit or something of that nature? I have to be afraid of that person stealing my cushy corporate job. Right. Yeah. Let me just... I don't think so, buddy. If you're one of those people that are afraid of that, I'm just going to go out and say that you probably need to evaluate your own skill set and fix yourself.
And you're in a border town, but I grew up in a place with, where you drive through the city, and there would be these little places where all of the Mexican guys were standing outside in the morning waiting for someone to come by and pick them up.
Right. You see that at gas stations here all the time. And yeah, I'm afraid of that guy. I'm afraid of the guy standing outside Circle K looking for a job, putting up drywall for $20 or a pack of Bud Light. Yeah, that's the guy that's an existential threat to my, life.
Remember when I told you that the Senate had passed a resolution to curtail the president's war powers in Yemen, and that they voted to end our Saudi-led war there?
I do remember, and I specifically remember how excited you got.
I wasn't that excited. I mean, the president can always veto that, but it passed through the House as well, which means that if Trump doesn't exercise his veto power, the people of Yemen may get some relief from their pain in the cholera epidemic there.
That'd be nice, less disease, less famine, less, genocide.
I mean, that would be nice. I mean, I'd love to see a little less war and a little less suffering that's bankrolled out of my paycheck every week.
You get paid weekly?
No, you know what I mean.
What do you think the odds are that this thing gets, he lets it pass?
I have no idea. I mean, the dude has some good instincts on foreign policy. I mean, you could see some of his old tweets far before he ran for president saying that we shouldn't be in Syria, or the war in Afghanistan is bad. I mean, he has some good instincts, or did. But he doesn't have any principles, not really, from what I can tell. But I mean, let's just hope that Rand is in that last meeting he has before he makes the decision, instead of, John Bolton.
Oh, you know what? That guy right in his eye.
Yeah, we're in full agreement on that. Honestly, I would love to see Trump be good on war. I mean, I don't have any hope in any politician, but I for once, I just love to be proved wrong.
Yeah, I'd love to see anybody good on war these days. It's slim pickings out there for the anti-war, anti-intervention, anti-empire crowd. But you know what Scott Horton, always says about, the Scott Horton law is you can trust every bad promise a politician makes, and you can trust that they'll go back on any good one.
Right. And not to mention Tom Wood's law, no matter who you vote for, you get John McCain. But, we'll see.
Time will tell, but on to your favorite topic, buddy. North Korea. So I don't know if you're aware, but this Friday, so as we're recording yesterday, our Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, stated that he hopes Kim Jong-un uses the country's parliament meeting to go on the record and say it's the right thing to do to give up their nukes. And you know what? I'd be pretty freaked out if a former director of the CIA made those comments towards me. I'm not even going to lie to you. The right thing to do, quote unquote, just sounds so ominous, but also threatening at the same time.
Right. I mean, this meeting that you're talking about is an annual event where Kim speaks to his people. I mean, Pompeo actually went on to also state that we'll be watching very close what he says.
Right. I saw that, and I believe he also said that they're not going to lift sanctions until they give up their nukes. Is that right?
I mean, as far as I know, yeah, he absolutely did. I mean, it's a pretty messed up ultimatum. I mean, the writing is on the wall. I mean, give up the nukes or else.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, in all honesty, what kind of psychopath does it take to, they actively seek out to punish a country that's already living a nightmare, a literal nightmare?
I mean, typically the ones who want to do that are the ones who think they can run the lives of 300 million people.
Hey-o. Good one, buddy. Yeah, so our government, if you didn't catch that one. But, how does this administration think diplomacy is going to move forward when they persist with these thinly veiled threats? I mean, to touch on the one we spoke about in our previous episode, I don't think Lil' Kim is in too big of a hurry to be murdered and dragged through the streets and God knows what else.
Right. I mean, Reuters is actually saying they've seen a document regarding the Hanoi talk that collapsed. They're saying that Trump handed Kim a piece of paper that included a pretty abrupt request for North Korea to transfer their nukes and bomb fuel to the United States. I mean, that's right. Hear me here. Not to get rid of them, but to transfer them to the United States.
Yeah. And I'm sure that didn't piss them off at all. I mean, why would it? Why would this just pompous, like you said, abrupt request, just, hey, give us your nukes, give us your fuel, and, we'll call it a day? Why would that not piss them off? But, I wonder if this guy knows that foreign relations and diplomacy aren't the same thing as running one of his businesses in New York.
I don't know. I mean, early on with the North Korea stuff, he seemed to have better instincts on this than any previous president who either outright ignored it or called them the axis of evil. I mean, I even read somewhere that he recognizes that sanctions are a war against civilians. But I mean, it's not a good report. I mean, if we believe the corporate press, if we believe that we can trust Reuters or Newsweek or any of these outlets, but we'll see what happens once this parliament meeting concludes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because they were saying, in that article that we perused, that they're hoping to have more talks soon, and they're coming, it's going to be soon, and they're going to hash all this stuff out. Yeah, whatever. We'll see what the deep state, has to say about all that. But, moving on. I was talking to a friend the other night, and he told me that if we really wanted to gain listeners and, get some traction going, that you and I need to simply disagree more.
Don't get me wrong. I realize how hard it is to disagree with me, since I'm always right. But we have to please the people, don't we?
Oh, get over yourself, nerd. I mean, what do we actually disagree on?
War?
Doubt it.
Women?
Hillary Duff all day.
Cheap beer?
Rollin' Rock and Bud Light.
PBR and Red Stripe.
Go to hell. Just you go straight to hell, sir.
Were you raised by barbarians?
Wolves, but that's besides the point.
What are you drinking? That's not even a beer.
You're right. It's a whiskey sour.
So why are we arguing about beer?
I don't know, man.
All right, I'll just keep nursing this award-winning lager while you slowly turn into the least interesting man in the world.
Watch it. I'm warning you, buddy, for the last time. Watch it.
Well, this week we're going to try something new called This Week in What the We want to devote a few minutes to discuss a couple, in our opinion, off-the-wall topics. Philbo Baggins, would you like to get us started?
Certainly, dear friend, and thank you for, using my, nickname that I've been trying to get people to call me for about 10 years now.
Nerd.
Well, teach their own, all right? You leave me alone. Don't tread on me. So, anyway, getting right into it. The anti-Trump train is back on. It's got a full head of steam going, and unsurprising as it may be, my friend, it's just not going away. And the battle that resurfaced is Trump's frickin' tax returns.
Are we sure this isn't This Week in Who Gives a
No, man. We agreed we'd go with my idea because it was better. Can you just play ball here? Let's go. Come on. Be professional.
But I don't give a
I don't care. Stop being a poopy pants.
Okay. But I don't give a about Trump's tax returns. In fact, I applaud anyone who finds a way to pay less taxes. Or none.
I hope he didn't pay any. Or found all the loopholes, necessary to minimize the theft.
I mean, agreed.
But House Democrats have formally requested Big Don's tax returns from the IRS. Democrat from Massachusetts, Richard Neal, who is also the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. I've never even heard of that before.
Are you sure it's not the Good and Plenty Committee?
I mean, I think you can refer to it each way. I think both are acceptable. But good old Dick Neal, he's requested 6 years of Trump's personal tax returns and returns from several of his businesses.
So, I mean, I figured it would come eventually, but their new witch hunt is this old witch hunt that they put by the wayside because they thought, hey, Russian collusion, that'll be the story. And that went well. I mean, these people have to quit while they're behind. I don't think Democrats or the media realize that throwing everything, every little piddling nonsense thing against the wall and hoping that something sticks, do they really think this is a viable strategy to win in 2020?
I'll tell you what I think is going to end up happening is, the masses will just become, fed up with these shenanigans. They're going to become fed up with, progressives and leftist ideologies. They're going to become fed up with the press even more than they are now after Russiagate's ended. And all I think is going to end up happening is just Trump's going to end up gaining sympathy.
No joke. I mean, one thing I've heard Michael Malice say a couple of times recently is that these people's actions speak louder than their words. I mean, if these people really thought that Trump was the next flaming hot Cheeto Hitler, I mean, they'd be finding real things to fight him on and truly attempt to oust him. I think they're full of hot air.
Kind of like a fart. Ayo. But,
yeah, good one, buddy.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Listen, okay, let me get back on track. So, my hope is that this eventually makes its way to some court and they shoot down their request, or something of that nature. Just simply because I would love to watch the fallout. I want to watch the triggering. I want to look at the Twitter feeds explode. I want to see the 24/7 coverage from CNN and MSNBC about them just spiraling out of control because their last ditch attempt to get him just didn't work. But again, that's my hope. I fingers crossed. But speaking of fallout, did you watch the recent video of Miss Cortez?
I sure as did.
What a phony little tart. Would you like to hear it?
I sure would. Jamie, pull that up.
This is what organizing looks like. This is what building power looks like. This is what changing the country looks like. It's when we choose to show up and occupy the room and talk about the things that matter most, talking about our future. Reverend, you bring up a funny anecdote, and I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Preach, sister.
There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to buy.
Fold those clothes.
There is nothing wrong with preparing the food that your neighbors will eat.
Oh.
There
Sounds
is
a little bit like
nothing
stay in your
wrong with
lane.
driving the buses that take your family to work. There is nothing wrong with being a working person in the United States of America.
Who said there was?
And there is everything dignified about it.
Okay. Woohoo!
I, in fact, am encouraged when people remind the country of my past, not because of anything about my story, but because it communicates that if I could work in a restaurant and become a member of the United States Congress, so can you. So can you.
Well, I'm a communist now.
Yeah, man. Oh, I mean, that honestly, that is quite literally one of the saddest excuses for an accent that I've ever heard.
Please
period.
just don't pass on the best part of the speech, okay? Aside from the whole black-splaining angle. Let us not overlook the hand clapping emphasis overload, okay? All that hand clapping, it really helped drive home her points, and you know what? I can honestly say I'm now a communist.
Honestly, I couldn't believe those the clapping or the hand motions that she used when she was talking about the Green New Deal. I mean, her hands were moving around like a kung fu master. She got all hot and bothered, and boy, do her hands go
just
go wild. You think she was half Italian and half filled with cocaine by watching her.
Riddle me this, Batman. Do you know who this reminds me of?
The patron saint of lost presidential campaigns. I actually have a couple of clips of Miss Hillary Rodham Clinton being a disingenuous prepared.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
No more questions? They said no, she has to go.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Are you getting information right now?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Hot sauce in my bag, Swag?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen, I
yes.
just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people again.
Okay. Is it working?
Gross. So gross. Is it working? No, ma'am. It sure didn't work. And you know her old ass can't handle hot sauce. She's not carting around hot sauce everywhere she goes. At the moment that hot sauce touches her lips, she's fainting again. She's passing out in public. That's the end of that story.
Right. Well, I've got another one. You ready for this? Here we go.
No, but okay.
All right.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy.
Holy cow.
I don't have the words.
I've got two. Holy
Holy indeed. I can't wait to see Miss Cortez lose as many times as her role model. It's going to be beautiful.
I mean, I just love how transparent they are when they pander. I mean, it's too bad their voters don't care.
Well, maybe one day they will.
I doubt
Maybe
it.
one day. But, all right, folks. Thanks for having a bit of fun with us and, joining us on this adventure into the madness that is our world.
You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon at ThisIsMLGA. If you'd like to send us an email, you can reach us at thisismlga@gmail.com.
And hit us up, subscribe, make sure to rate us on iTunes. It helps us grow and guarantees new episodes. We're trying to get on the new and noteworthy section of iTunes, so just any review and rating you could leave would be great.
Absolutely. And don't forget to check out the MLGA Network. We're a small and scrappy group of libertarians that share all of the best Liberty podcasts on MLGAnetwork.com. Make sure to check that out. And actually, we're going to have some more original shows coming your way soon.
And, as always, we're happy to be here. We're happy you're with us. And stay sane, everybody.